What's up, fam? It's your boy Jay Sean. Just chiming in real quick. You know, I want to talk about something real quick. Let's talk about black economics. Black economics, you know, how it affects us racially and politically, you know. Black people don't really, we're not really thinking right now, you know, about where we spend our money, man. You know, we're literally funding our own oppression. We are. You know, so we got to start rethinking and training our minds, man, to stop thinking like slaves. You know, we have to, because we're living like slaves right now. People think because we're not in chains that we're not slaves. You know how you know you're a slave? Because a lot of white people are in slavery too right now. You know what I'm saying? But they accept their poorness and their lack of power and economic prowess because, you know what? They're not black. You know what I mean? That's the golden rule in this country. As long as you're not black, you know, you're all right. You know, so you got your little barbecue, and even though you ain't got no health care and your teeth are missing and your stomach's hanging over your, you know, your overalls, you know, you ain't no nigga. Crazy, right? But that's the sickness of some white people. And just like how they have a mental sickness and you know, a terrible approach to life, so do black people. But unfortunately for us, it's not just our poor and ignorant, you know? It's also our middle class. It's also our well-to-do, you know, rich brothers and sisters. And notice how I said rich, not wealthy, rich. We don't have many wealthy black people in this country, you know? We just don't. Matter of fact, I say it differently. We don't have that many wealthy black families, because that's how it's done. Family is supposed to be a business, people, you know what I mean? You know, and I'll give you a case in point. I'm going through this with my mother right now, you know? My mother has a little, you know, stitching, you know, talent, you know, that she's developed. So she makes these hats and scarves and booties for babies, and, you know, she's selling her stuff to her friends and family, you know? But here's the thing. She has 2 sons in their 30s. She has 2 daughters, one in college and one that graduated college. And the one that graduated college has a business degree. So do you think her daughter that she paid to go to school to get a business degree is helping her with her business? No. What she did when her daughter got out of school was, well, you're done with school, get out the house, go get your own apartment. So now my sister got her own little apartment, her own little space, whatever, so she can do her thing. But she's paying her money to some Jewish family to rent an apartment. So instead of putting money into her mother's business or creating a family business, her daughter is spending money with some other people's family and investing in their future. All right, stay with me. It gets deeper. Again, my mother paid for her education, right? So instead of her using her talent and her expertise in business that she went to school for 4 years for, she's now trying to find a job to work for some corporation to get, you know, she's trying to get some high-paying job. Matter of fact, right now she's trying to intern so she can get a high-paying job later on. So she went to school for 4 years to get education in business to work for somebody else's business. At the same time, her mother is trying to do her business. And I'm trying to explain to my mother how backwards this is. You know? But this is what black people are, because, you know, my mother is one of those people who, you know, was under, you know, she's under the impression that, you know, you go, get an education, get a good job. If you can't get an education, try to get the best job you can. Get a job, get a job, get a job. Now I understand that you can't pass down a job. You can't pass that down. You only can pass down a business or wealth. You know, you can't pass down a job. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's a slave mentality. Think about it. When you were on a plantation, that's what you passed down, a job. So when you was a good, you know, seamstress, and now you were, you know, raised on a plantation, and your mother taught you how to be a seamstress. So now you the head seamstress, and you got talent, and you're a little better than your mother was, and they pat you in the head and say, yeah, you good, you just like your mother, you better than your mother. This is a plantation mentality, man. So you're passing down a job. This is a job you do for massa. You know, so the idea is to play it safe, man. A lot of our parents, unfortunately, have no wisdom. They have no strength, you know? And it's not my mother's fault, because she wasn't taught, you know, well. Her father wasn't around. Her mother was a trip, you know what I'm saying? So there was no lesson there for her. So I understand why my mother is the way she is. You know, the problem with black folk is really this. When you go out in the world and you leave the nest and you come back home and you try to teach your people how to do better, that's where the problem's at. That's where the resistance at. I'm like, damn, my sister got more resources than I have. They got more opportunity than I have. They got more investment. No one sent me to college. There was no money, there was no resources for me to go to school. But my mother was, you know, worked all her life, you know, working for the city of New York. She had money, and, you know, she had a steady job. She had a better station to take care of her daughters. And then also she was married. My mother was a single mother when we were coming up. You know, me and my sisters, it's like my mother had two different families. Like me and my brother right behind each other. And then she had my sisters 14 years later, and my younger sister 18 years later. So it's like she had two different families, right? And both of them went to college, but her boys didn't go to college. You understand? When it came time for us to get 17, 18 years old, it was like, you know, get out the house. But now she got a man in the house and a husband. The plan was different. I want you to really peep game. You know what I'm saying? I'm teaching y'all something right now. All right? But I'm going to get back to what this video is about. And it's about economics, right? So my mother's trying to get her business thing going. And she just doesn't know how she's wasted her time. She's invested in her child, and now there's nothing coming back to help her with her business. No expertise, no pointers, no nothing. So all my sisters' efforts are going to be used up by some other people. Even right now, she's working to pay rent for some other people. So my mother doesn't get those resources coming to her. She didn't keep her in the home, you know, while she's trying to go get an internship. My sister has to go out there, work an internship, and work a job, because the internship is not going to pay her nothing. Or if they do pay her, it's not going to be much. So she's going to have to work that gig, work for some other people on an internship, and then turn around and have to work another job. So she's going to be working crazy. You know what I mean? She's going to be working around the clock just to live somewhere else where she can live with her mother. She could be with her mother, working a part-time job, or getting some side hustles. And this is what I tell my sister. And this is where me and my mother came to an impasse. I said, fine, I'm not even going to talk to my sister about helping her mother out. I was like, all right, you want to go out there and do you? Won't you go out there and get some businesses popping? While you still young? While you got time to fail? You know what I mean? Because when you get older and you get more, you know, property, or you get more responsibilities, whether it's children, homes, whatever, cars, then you're going to be more inclined to keep a job to pay your bills or to take care of your responsibilities, you understand? So while you out here with no kids, no nothing, you know, and you hanging out all the time, and I see you on Facebook with your pictures and you out and about and hanging out, use your friends to help you get your shit popping. You went to school to be a business person. Get it popping. Next time I talk to my mother, you know, you shouldn't give her, you know, try to put all that stuff in her head, man, you know, because she needs to go out there and get her a real good job. And I'm like, no, Mom, no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. No, she does not. Because even while she's failing at these businesses, you know what I mean, that could be her resume. She can always go get a job. You know what I'm saying? When you own a business and it's just you also work for your business. You know what I'm saying? So if you go into another man's business looking for a job, well, what were you doing for the last 5 years? I was doing this. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's your experience. So all that my mother's talking is just nonsense to me, man. You know? And it just sucks, man, to sit back and fight with your family about money, you know? And then, you know, I tell my mother, I was like, Mom, you know, look, this also has a racial and political component, you know what I mean? The reason why we're so weak out here because we have no businesses, man. The Italian community is strong because of the... Matter of fact, if you look at the Italian community, when they came off them boats in the early 1900s, you know, the first thing they did was establish businesses. And then, you know, the organized crime came over, and what they do, they taxed their own businesses. They walked up on other Italian businesses and say, you need to pay us for protection. You know what I mean? And this is how they built their community. You know? Then in the mid-1900s, they started letting them in law enforcement, and then you have what you have right now in New York. So I'm not going to get into all that, but I'm just trying to show, you know, illustrate how you build your communities and how your communities become your political protection. You understand? We don't have no protection out here because we don't really have any strong communities. We don't. We just a bunch of niggas living together. We don't have any banks. We don't have any, you know, real property where we live. I'm talking about places like New York. I'm talking about clustered properties. You know? And in the Italian community, they own all their properties. They own those houses, man. They have mortgages. Remember when in Far Rockaway when they had that the hurricane a few years ago and it flooded the fire department's community out in Far Rockaway, and it caused fires, and while they out putting out fires and helping people, their houses were burning down. Think about what I'm saying. This is a community of firemen. They own all their homes. And they got them together as a community. So they live, play, and work together. They face danger and everything else together. Their families, their children, all know each other. They grow up together. And this is really the root of the problem why you got so much disrespect in the black community, you know what I mean? There's a lot of disrespect in the black community because niggas really ain't got nothing. You ain't doing nothing. There's nothing really to respect. So while you're not building nothing together, you're not working nothing together, it leaves space for disrespect and discontent and hate to come in. And that becomes your culture. You know what I'm saying? If you look at these communities, whether it's the police communities, the Italian community, Irish community, you know, their cultures are all interlaced, you know what I mean? Whether they're Roman Catholic, Irish Catholic, their religion, the way they talk, the way they live, the way they drink, it's all intertwined, man. You know, and then it spills over into their workforce. So when you see the wall of blue or the code of blue amongst police, when the code of silence they have amongst each other, that comes from their community. You're not just ratting on another cop, you're ratting on your neighbor. You're ratting on a childhood friend. You're ratting on somebody you went to high school with, or somebody you know who went to high school. You know what I mean? You're ratting on somebody you play softball with, baseball with, hockey with. Do you understand what I'm saying, fam? This is what I'm saying, black people, we gotta get to the point where we start really thinking correctly, man. You know, we up under each other, but at the same time, we can't find a way to work with each other. The problem is ours. That's why we fodder out here. We can't fodder. They just feeding off us, man. Now, we all know that Caucasians are predatory people. That's why they go out there and kill innocent animals, man. And hunt animals and call it sport. Ain't no sport hunting no damn Dale bird. They don't fight back. I can show you a video right now of some brothers out in Africa who are still hunting the old school way, where there's a wildebeest being attacked by a pride of lions, so they want to get some of that fresh meat. So they go in with sticks and they scare off the lions, you know, and they got 2 or 3 brothers scaring off the lions, holding the lions back, and one brother going in and chop off a leg so they can have dinner that night. And then they back out slowly, and then the lions come back and they go back to eating their prey. That's some real brave shit to me. It's not brave sitting in the goddamn woods with a camouflage on and a fucking gun, and the duck ain't got no weapon or teeth. You know what I mean? A deer, the first thing the deer does is run away. I mean, that's not, come on, man. But this is their culture. They gotta kill shit. You know what I'm saying? They already don't look at you as human beings. You give them a badge of authority, and, you know, the rest is history, man. But they don't do that to strong communities, man. They don't even do that to small communities. Like, when the last time you see the cops beat up Ethiopians, man? Or beat up a Sikh, you know what I'm saying? Or beat up, shit, Arabs. They got beef with terrorists right now. You don't see them going out beating the shit out of Arabs and Iranians. They talk shit about them all day on TV, but they don't go out there and beat them up. You know why? Because they have a community that will respond. And they have a country that will respond. There's diplomatic, you know what I'm saying, ties to these communities. You start beating a bunch of Nigerians up over here, you're gonna have to start dealing with the Nigerian, you know, ambassador. You know, and they got ways of hurting us. A lot of our companies here in America do business over there. You understand? So this, you see the point? I made this point before in a lot of videos when the gays and had issues with the laws being passed in Arizona and the laws being passed in Indiana. Even though they're a small population in this country, you know, the businesses came in and shut that down because of the business ties that the gay community has. You know what I mean? And the power they have with corporate America. So I'm trying to show you how all this shit is intertwined, man. You can't sit out here on an island, man. You just can't do it. We can't live by ourselves. We are a group, whether we like it or not, man. You see the Oath Keepers out there. These white boys ain't playing. They coded up. You know, they ammoed up. You know, they armed. Camouflaged up. They're not playing. Beards out. They on some Viking shit right now, man. You know? And y'all out here fucking twerking and doing a nay-nay. Dancing in the streets at protests. This is some real clown shit, man. Coming out of school to go work for other people. Making money and then spending money with all other communities because you just gotta have that Benz. You gotta have those red bottoms. You gotta go to Walmart and get that special. When these are the Walton family and the Papa John family, these are the people who give money to the Republican Party to put your sons and daughters in jail. Come on, man. Y'all gotta wake up, fam. And I use my family as an example to let you know that, you know, I'm not allergic to this shit, and I got work to do on my end too. You know, but me and my daughter, we good. I need more black people like us to work with. You know, that's why I'm putting this video out there, and that's why black economics is important. Integrating into society is killing us, man. You know, integrating society, get those jobs, man, get that money. But you know, if you work at Walmart, make your money, but bring that money back to the community, man. You see those Hispanics coming here making that money and sending back home. We gotta do the same thing, people. Stay the fuck out these stores, man. If y'all want to organize around something, organize around that, man. Support each other. It's a damn shame I gotta watch y'all spend this kind of money while I'm trying to build businesses, man. You feel me?